Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Today, we're going to deep dive into one of the most, I would say, fascinating pavilion at Biennale. And we're talking about presence also of outstanding artist. His name is Mark Francis. And the project is entitled Sea of Sound, curated by Luca Tommasi. Tana Art Space is the location until the 22nd of November 2026. And I'm here today with the project manager of the Republic of San Marino Pavilion, Elena Rossi. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, Simona. Thank you so much for having me. I want to start with a thank you for having and for supporting the San Marino Pavilion and our big project.
Absolutely. For me, San Marino is really, really a magic place. I would like to know the architecture of the project.
So, first of all, thank you for the question. Is to be part of a Biennale is not just an artist, a curator, a project manager. It's way more than this because it involves an entire country, an entire state. And in particular, San Marino is such a small country that also the presence of the Republic in such a big event is not for sure, is not granted. So every year we still ask the question, will we be at the next Venice Biennale? Is not. So every year we must start from scratch and organize all over again everything, finding founds every year for the next years. So there are so many people involved that goes from the country, from the state to the Secretary of Culture of San Marino. And then we have all the private sector that is really much involved in this project, especially this year. So we have a private gallery, a private institution that works with contemporary art. That is the one that really organized the project and also puts a big effort, 100% in the project. And then so I would say at this point, once these two main subject has been selected, so the country and the gallery, then was part of the gallery's job to find a great artist that could represent the Republic of San Marino in such a big event. And so for this reason, FR Istituto d'Arte, which is an Istituto d'Arte based in San Marino, has chosen Mark Francis as an artist. Mark Francis is a North Irish artist, born in 1962, to represent San Marino. And this is also another super interesting point, I think. And also, the artist was chosen especially once the title of the Venice Biennale was published, so in minor keys. And of course, FR was already knowing Mark Francis very well. And because of the title of the Biennale, was for FR natural to select Mark Francis as an artist because, of course, of his evident, I would say, reference to music and to movement. And so the artist was chosen, and then the curator came straight after because, of course, Luca Tommasi is probably in Italy one of the most relevant person and curator, and also one of the most important persons that knows the British art. And Mark Francis has been living in London till a long time, and was part of one of the main exhibitions in the world that was made by Saatchi Gallery, Sensation. So Luca Tommasi was selected as curator. And so, as you can see, it's really a big project where there are so many people involved. And once, let's say, the team was planned, then of course all the project could start.
So this year's your pavilion occupies a new venue between De Giardini and the Arsenale. And what were the biggest logistical and production challenges in delivering the project?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, San Marino was at the Venice Biennale in a different location. It was in San Lorenzo, while this time we are in Castello. We are really, really close to the entrance of the Arsenale, so it's a way more visible location. And of course, we are having so much more visibility. I think Venice is such a beautiful city and it's so great to be in Venice, but it's also, I would say, one of the worst city for a project manager to organize an exhibition in. Because of course, there are no streets, everything is super difficult, all the locations have main issues, and so it's always very tricky and it's always very challenging to create an exhibition in such a city. So, of course, and also being at the Venice Biennale means that all the countries in the world start the Biennale, open their pavilion on the same day, close their pavilion on the same day. It means the week before is just a big mess, and everyone, all artists in the world are in Venice. It means it's such a vibrant period to be in Venice, and at the same time it's so chaotic and so difficult to like schedule everything and have everyone at your disposal the week before to start the pavilion in the best way.
So also the Istituto d'Arte Contemporanea, has now organized several editions of the San Marino Pavilion. So how has this experience helped strengthen the San Marino international presence at the Venice Biennale, upon your
So,
thoughts?
of course. So, actually, I think something that's really important is to tell that San Marino was the first microstate to take part to the Venice Biennale. And this is way important because San Marino has such a great in his history. San Marino had many. It was really care to culture. So San Marino hosted some biennales also in the 60s and in the 70s, and San Marino was the first, as I said, microstate to had a pavilion at the Venice Biennale. But after a few years, San Marino stopped his presence at the Venice Biennale, and it just started back, I would say, 5 or 6 years ago. So on one side, it's great that we are back in such an international situation, such as the Venice Biennale. 2 years ago, we had the chance to organize, so 4 years ago, actually, we went back with the Art International Biennale with a group of many artists. While 2 years ago, we were in San Lorenzo just with Eddie Martinez. So we had a solo exhibition made by this international super great artist, Eddie Martinez, and was curated by Elison Gingeras. So it was a small country really trying to push hard to have the best, what's the best on the market, what's the best contemporary artist in the world representing San Marino. And this year we try to do the same. So we have an international artist representing San Marino in an international situation. And to have for San Marino, so in the past we were used to have San Marinian artists represented at the Venice Biennale. While in the last years, we preferred to choose international artists, or not really because they were international, but just because they were great artists that could represent in the best possible way San Marino.
Okay,
So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please. No, no, go on.
So let's get back and talk about Sea of Sound and the different features of this project. So this event explores listening, perception, and multisensory experience. From your perspective, how does the project embody the values of the Republic of San Marino?
So I will start from the theme of the Venice Biennale. The theme of the Venice Biennale is in minor keys, and it speaks
Yeah.
about all these micro states, all these micro voice that are not the main voice of the story, but that helps the story to be told. And in some ways, San Marino, I think as a San Marinian, works this way. So we are a very small country, but at the same time, we are an independent country, same as the big countries. So we have the same voice in front of each country, in front of the Venice Biennale. We have the same voice, also if we are, of course, very small. So we are in some way a minor keys. And the entire project of Sea of Sound was established, was created after Mark Francis came to San Marino, visited the Republic, learned the story about this beautiful Republic, and created all these artworks that combine the music, the sounds, and all the colors. That is what is his sign, let's say, what he's most famous for, let's say. So the San Marino Pavilion is divided in two rooms. One is way more, it covers all the senses. So it has music, it has sounds, it has paint, it has color. So it's really much a deep dive into senses, and it really takes you into a different world, let's say, while the second room is just focused on painting and how these paintings includes the viewer in a sea of sound. So how painting and sound works together.
And what is the message you hope you are gonna leave to the audience and to the public that visits San Marino Pavilion?
So Sea of Sound brings you inside. You are surrounded by this music, and you are surrounded by these colors that at the same time makes you have a great interaction. And because of it's just abstract art, it creates, it makes the visible invisible. He tried to work, Mark Francis tries to work with the micro words, with sounds, and so order and chaos together. And what I think is really interesting about Mark Francis' art is that each color has a separate message. This is in the entire history of art, and that these colors melt together, recreating the complexity of associations. So that can be different for anyone, and these are really the minor keys. So it's also a movement that the artist wants the viewer to have, moving from far away, where you can see the entire artworks that gives you vibrant idea of geometric ideas, but then the artworks really push you in, really wants you to move closer to see how it's actually made. And when you reach and you go closer, you see this super complex texture, and you really need to move back, take a step back, because it's too much, like you don't really understand anymore what's going on. So I think Mark Francis' art representing the San Marino Pavilion is really much being a part of something bigger, being a small voice, being a voice in this sea of sound where you are just one of the thousand voices that are, in this case, at the Venice Biennale, but that can talk to anyone, same as all the others.
And what has been the most rewarding moment for you as a project manager, and what message would you like to share with visitors?
So I already organized the Venice Biennale 2 years ago for the San Marino Pavilion, and I would say this year I was super grateful. It was way more there was more inclusion of the San Marinian people. So it's not just San Marino moving to Venice, but it's also what's in Venice moving to San Marino. So, for example, the entire pavilion, once the Biennale ends, the entire exhibition will move to San Marino, so that also the San Marinian can see the pavilion, see the exhibition, see the artworks, and deep dive the curatorial project, also if it's not in Venice anymore. So the entire exhibition will go to San Marino, the entire Sea of Sound. And I think this is great because as a San Marinian, as I said, it's really important for me that also the San Marinian can understand why it's important to invest in culture and why it's important to be at the Venice Biennale. Because it's not that obvious in a country where every year, as I said at the beginning, you must explain again and again why we should go at the Venice Biennale.
Okay, so we had the chance to talk with Elena Rossi, project manager of the Republic of San Marino Pavilion, that has coordinated the production and the operational management of the pavilion, and contributed to the realization of the Sea of Sound, curated by Luca Tommasi. She works, I have to outline this. You works with the Secretariat of State of Education and Culture of the Republic of San Marino. And so thank you very much to have joined us with this conversation. We remind to the audience that you will have the chance to visit San Marino Pavilion until the 22nd of November 2026. And see you soon again. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very
so
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Simona. It was
you.
really great to have you.